Okay. So this is Deuteronomy 29. And let's start here. All its land, this Israel, is brimstone and salt, and a barren waste unsown, and nothing sprouting, and no grass grows in it. Like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zebulun, and I'm probably not saying that right, but which Yahweh overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. And all the nations will say, why has Yahweh done thus to this land? Why this great burning anger? Then men will say, because they forsook the covenant of Yahweh, the God of their fathers, which he cut with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they had not known and whom he had not apportioned to them. Therefore the anger of Yahweh was kindled against that land to bring upon it every curse which is written in this book. And Yahweh uprooted them from their land in anger and in fury, in great wrath, and cast them into another land as it is to this day. The secret things belong to Yahweh our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our sons forever, that we may do all the words of this law. All right, chapter 30. So it will be when all of these things have come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you cause these things to return to your heart, in all the nations in all the nations where Yahweh your God has banished you, and you return to Yahweh your God and listen to his voice with all your heart and soul, according to all that I am commanding you today, you and your sons, then Yahweh your God will return you from captivity and return his compassion on you, and he will gather you again from all the peoples where Yahweh your God has scattered you. If those of you who are banished are at the ends of the sky, from there Yahweh your God will gather you, and from there he will take you back. And Yahweh your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will prosper you and multiply you more than your fathers. Moreover, Yahweh your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed to love Yahweh your God with all your heart and with all your soul, so that you may live. And Yahweh your God will inflict all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you, who persecute you. Okay. Now what's interesting about Deuteronomy is it was written by Moses. And Moses never saw the conquest of the land of Canaan. So this prophecy was given before Israel ever took Canaan. So before Israel ever took the land, Moses prophesied that the Israelis would eventually break the covenant with Yahweh, and that they would be scattered to all parts of the earth, right? But eventually God would bring them back to the land. Now I'm pointing this out for Christians because I hear a lot of people peddling the whole replacement theology. Nothing in here says anything about Yahweh replacing the sons of Israel with any other people. Is not there. In fact, it's the opposite. It says, if those of you who are banished are at the ends of the sky, from there Yahweh your God will gather you, and from there he will take you back. And Yahweh your God will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed. I mean, it's clearly speaking about Israel. And down here, Tucker was with Ted Cruz, and Tucker told Ted Cruz, the whole, I will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. He said, that's just in Genesis. No, it's not. That is right there again. It's not in the same words, but it's the same meaning. And Yahweh your God will inflict all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you, who persecute you. If you want to know what kind of curse that might be, well, you know, one of the curses was that the land would be like salt and burning waste, unsown, nothing sprouting, no grass. You know what's going on in Iran right now? They're experiencing a very, very, very bad drought. They don't have enough water. Isn't that interesting? I'm just saying. Now let's turn to Joel. Let's turn to Joel. What does Joel say? Here we are. Joel chapter 3. We'll start with verse 1. Verse 1, Joel chapter 3. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Then I will enter into judgment with them there, on behalf of my people and my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among all the nations. Again, this is talking about the Jews. This is not replacement theology, y'all. And they have divided up whose land? Whose land? My land. Who's talking? Yahweh. Yahweh. They have also cast lots for my people, traded a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink. Okay. Yeah. Whose land does it? Who is the owner of the land, according to prophet Joel? The owner of the land is Yahweh. He owns the land. Who did he decide to give the land to? Israel. Why is he gathering all the nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat to enter into judgment? Because they divided up his land. Just saying. Y'all need to read your Bibles, okay? If you are getting your information from Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson or whatever, y'all are drinking from a poison well, okay? Y'all need to read the Bible. This is Prophet Zechariah. So far we've done Prophet Moses, Prophet Joel. Let's do Prophet Zechariah. What does Zechariah have to say? And Yahweh will be king over all the earth in that day. Yahweh will be the only one, and his name one. All the land will be changed into a plain from Gibeah to Rimmon. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce these words right, because, you know, I don't know Hebrew. South of Jerusalem, but Jerusalem will rise and inhabits its site from Benjamin's gate, as far as the place of the first gate to the corner gate, and from the tower at Hananiah to the king's winepress. Okay, notice this is not a metaphor, okay? This is not metaphoric here. This is talking about gates and locations. It's very, very detailed. This is talking about the actual city, not a metaphor. And people will inhabit it, and there will no longer be anything devoted to destruction, for Jerusalem will be inhabited in security. Now this will be the plague with which Yahweh will plague all the peoples who have gone to war against Jerusalem. Y'all, this is ugly. Look at this. Their flesh will rot while they stand on their feet, and their eyes will rot in their sockets, and their tongue will rot in their mouth. Yeah, no, thank you. Don't want that. And it will be in that day that abundant confusion from Yahweh will fall on them, and they will take hold of one another's hand, and the hand of one will go up against the hand of the other. In other words, they're going to lose their minds, and they're going to start killing each other. Okay, so the plague is your flesh starts to rot, including your eyeballs and your tongue. Then you lose your mind, and you go completely psycho. See that? All right, verse 14. And Judah also will fight at Jerusalem. So the IDF is in it. And the wealth of all the surrounding nations will be gathered. Sounds like the IDF won that fight. Gold and silver and garments in great abundance. Look, the plague will even affect the animals. Okay, that's verse 15. By the way, this is Zechariah 14 if you want to know. Hey, then it will be that any who are left of all the nations that went up against Jerusalem will go up from year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to celebrate the Feast of Booths. And it will be that whichever of the families of the earth does not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, there will be no rain on them. I don't know, y'all. That does not sound like replacement theology to me. That does not sound like replacement theology to me. I'm just saying, y'all need to read your Bibles. Y'all really need to read your Bibles. Y'all need to quit listening to people, and y'all need to go to the book. Okay? Yeah. This is not replacement theology. I just read you 3 prophets. You got Prophet Moses, Prophet Joel, and Prophet Zechariah. And what they're saying is that, God is going to, the end of the age, all right, the last battle, good versus evil, final climax. God is going to reestablish Israel. And he's going to judge nations that came up against Israel. Why? Because the land doesn't belong to any... Okay. Y'all, I could go on a rabbit trail. Y'all have no idea. The land does not belong to the Palestinians. It doesn't belong to the Arabs. It doesn't belong to the Muslims. It doesn't belong to Allah. Let's talk about Allah. Just quick rabbit trail. Who is Allah? Okay. When Muhammad bin Abdullah was born, okay, Muhammad bin Abdullah, the guy who founded Islam, when he was born, Allah was part of the Arabian pantheon. He was not a monotheistic God. He was polytheistic, okay? He was one of many. In fact, he fathered 3 goddesses. He fathered Alat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. These were Arabian goddesses who were the daughters of Allah. And there were several other gods. I don't know their names. But my point is, Allah is a leftover Arabian pagan god. When Muhammad was a young man, a teenager and all that, his people, the Arabs, worshipped the pantheon. And Allah was one of many deities. And the Kaabas, there were several Kaabas. There were scores of Kaabas. They were scattered all throughout the Arabian Peninsula. Muhammad took over Mecca, said, oh, this is the Kaaba. And he had all the others destroyed. But they were sites of pagan worship. So if you want to know who Allah is, he's a leftover pagan god. He has nothing to do with Abraham, nothing to do with Moses, nothing to do with Joel, nothing to do with Zechariah. These prophets, these guys right here, these guys were the prophets of Yahweh. They were not like Malachi, Zechariah, Moses, Amos, Elijah. They were the prophets of Yahweh. Have nothing to do with Allah, period. So when Tucker Carlson says, what's wrong with submitting to God? The response is, Tucker, we're not talking about Yahweh, the God of the Bible. We're talking about Allah. And if you submit to Allah, you have to, 1, become a Muslim, and 2, fight all the non-Muslims. So, no thank you. Pass.